Hey everybody, welcome back to Elysium. I wanted to do one more bonus video for the Brujah because I bought a big lot of cards and there are some Brujah in there that are not from 1st edition and they're definitely not from 5th edition. So, the artwork on them says 1995 and 1996. So this is not a complete set. This is just a select few of additional Brujah. So let's start with oldest to youngest as usual. Anson Maddox, Vasilis, the traitor of Don Cruez. I don't like this guy. I don't think he looks like a Brujah, except maybe the bleached hair, but he just looks too weaselly to me. He looks like somebody who is physically weak, but who thinks that he's mentally strong. I think a vampire like this belongs with the Tremere or some such. I don't know. He doesn't look like he belongs in the Brujah. Maybe that's why he betrayed Don Cruez. I don't know what that's about. I also don't really see a vampire. They could have easily given him fangs with his little smile, but for some reason, Anson Maddox just wanted him to look weaselly and not really vampiric. So that's kind of a disappointment. This guy could have been better. Not one of Anson's better illustrations, in my opinion. Next up, by John Bolton, we have Raziah Samater. I really like this one quite a bit. She's a capacity 3. She is beautiful. I love the colors on this one. It just has a nighttime outside of a casino type vibe. I love that she looks really serious. She kind of reminds me of Niobe from The Matrix, only a little bit meaner looking, which is perfect. I think this looks like a Brujah. And I know I prefer them to look vampiric, but not all the vampires have to look like vampires all the time. I'm aware that most of the time they look like regular people. So I can forgive the lack of vampiric appearance. I just really like this picture. I would definitely play with Raziah. There's just something menacing about her. And I wish I could put my finger on it, but I really like it. This is probably my favorite of this handful of extras. Next up, by Dave Roach, we have Brujah. This is an ordinary girl. She's very pretty. For some reason, we're looking at her. I presume she's standing in a subway tunnel. I don't know. She's got pretty blue eyes. She's got lovely features. I don't see a vampire, and I don't see a Brujah. I see nothing punk or rebellious about her whatsoever. I see nothing vampiric about her whatsoever. She has a nice, healthy skin tone. So I guess Dave Roach didn't fully understand what his job was, but yeah, there's not much more to say. That's too bad. It's always kind of a shame when some artwork gets used that just doesn't work for what we're doing. Anson Maddox, Volker, the Puppet Prince. Oh, and he is a Prince of Frankfurt. Yeah, I see a Brujah here. Again, I don't really like this Anson Maddox picture that much. It's well done. Yeah, it is a Brujah. He's got his hair styled straight up. He's got a bunch of ear piercings. He's got the black leather jacket. He looks very much like a Brujah. I think Anson nailed the Brujah look on this. But again, apart from a rather ghoulish skin tone, he doesn't look vampiric at all. But he's okay. He's fine. He is a prince. 5 capacity prince. Yeah, he's okay. I wouldn't kick him out of the deck if I was playing Camarilla Brujah, but Camarilla Brujah isn't much of a thing in 5th edition. Brujahs all went Anarch. Next, we have Donal O'Connor, Prince of Dublin, by Lawrence Snelly. At first glance, I would say I don't see a Brujah, but the guy is lighting up a freaking Molotov cocktail. That, in and of itself, is about the most Brujah thing you can possibly do. So, good for him. That, if it wasn't for that, I would wonder what the point of this card was. So yeah, that sells me on the Brujah. He's about to do some damage, aggravated damage, no less. But I don't really see a vampire. He is wearing a nice red shirt with a black tie. I guess that's the biggest hint we're going to get, that this is a vampire. Not sufficient for my taste. I'm a bit disappointed. I see a guy lighting up a Molotov cocktail and not a vampire lighting up a Molotov. So good job on the Brujah. Not so good job on being a vampire. Last of all, we have Gwendolyn, Inner Circle member. Now, that's a Camarilla thing. If she were anything other than an Inner Circle member, I'd be disgruntled about this picture. But I would expect an Inner Circle member to be a little more refined, a little better dressed, a little more formal. And she's still got a bit of Brujah look to her. She's got her hair styled up. She's got the piercings all up her ear. I think this artist, who are we looking at? Ken Meyer Jr. I think he did a magnificent job using 3 colors. All I see is red, white, and black. And it works. The colors make it vampiric. I can respect that. The red and the black kind of do that, and the white is her pale face and a little bit of the background. But I think this is well done. I kind of wish that an Inner Circle member would get a little more detail, a little more drawn out. But I mean, at least we're looking at her face. There are pictures of some of these vampires that are just a little too distant, a little too far away. You get the full body, you can't really see the face, but with Gwendolyn, we're getting the face, and it's nice. It's nice. This is good. Again, if I were playing Camarilla Brujah, I might include her. I'm actually a bit indignant about the fact that they have put Inner Circle members as being playable. I do not think they should be playable. I don't think they would get involved with the petty politics of the vampire clans. I really don't. And so I kind of wish that she wasn't a thing, that this was not necessary to give us an Inner Circle member. But here she is. Take it or leave it. Now, last of all, I wanted to go through my favorites of 1st edition, 5th edition, and this extra little bit, and pull out the ones that I like, because if I were to make a Brujah deck, it would have to be Anarch and not Camarilla, which unfortunately would exclude some of my favorites. Like, I wouldn't be able to play with Rake because he's a prince. And by the way, Mark Teeden illustrated Rake, and he's kind of growing on me, this Rake guy, even with the purple skin. Look at the expression on his face. That is the expression of a guy who has just smashed his thumb with a hammer because his little kid won't stop screaming for ice cream. That is the face of a guy sitting in church with a little kid behind him who has kicked the back of his pew one too many times. Okay, that's the face of a Brujah who just failed his frenzy check 0.26 seconds ago. This is a guy who is done with somebody's crap, and he's not looking at anything in particular because he's too mad. He's about to be seeing red, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I can't play with Rake because he's a prince. I can't play with Anvil because he's a primogen. I very unfortunately cannot play with Miranda Sonova because she's a primogen. These are Camarilla titles. I can't play with Tura Vaughn because she's a primogen. Get lost, Crusher. Nobody wants. Okay, Apollonius, I would love to play with, but he is a primogen. Don Cruez would be fine. He's the Justicar. That's a Camarilla thing. The reason why I have to go with Anarchs is because the new 5th edition cards all say Anarch on them. They specifically include that, whereas 1st edition do not. So the 1st edition cards I would put in my Anarch deck are going to be Lupo, Dre, leader of the Cold Dawn, definitely Uma Hatch. Probably, she is one of my favorites. That is just a gorgeous picture by Anson Maddox. Yuri the Talon, he doesn't have a title. And Bianca. I had to squeeze Bianca in because there were no other options. And like I said, she's fine. She's fine. So that's 5 from 1st edition. From 5th edition, I would include Rain with those red eyes. I would include Ariane. I would include Ellen Kamjian. Octane, definitely. He's on par with Uma Hatch, in my opinion. Valeria Zinovieva is how the Russians would say her name. She's an Anarch Baron of Moscow. And Theo Bell. That is 6 cards from the 5th edition. So we've got 5 plus 6. I only need one more to have a full legitimate Brujah deck, and it would be Razia Samater by John Bolton. Phenomenal. So yeah, I could pull it off. I could have a full Brujah Anarch deck with my favorites. Love it. That makes me happy. That's reassuring. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I would love to hear your opinions in the comments for what your favorites are. Which ones did you agree with me on? Which ones do you disagree with me on? I promise I will read the comments. Thank you again for watching.